Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Playful Humans podcast. I'm your host, Mike Montague, and my guest this week is Asher Laub. He is a musician, a producer, a composer, a live performer, and an electric violinist, rocking all things music. You can find him at asherlaub.com. The link is in the show notes below. Now, if you're wanting to rediscover the power of play, get some reminders for cool things you can do to have fun and enjoy your life and career as an adult, go to playfulhumans.com. That's where we have all kinds of good blogs, podcasts like this one, videos, games you can play, cheesy jokes you can tell with your kids, all at playfulhumans.com. Here we go. Got more moves than I do. All right, Asher, welcome to the podcast. We like to start with the joke of the week. The joke of the week is brought to you by the laundry. My wife and I had a fight about the laundry, but I eventually folded. All right. Why was Cinderella so bad at soccer?
I have no idea.
She kept running away from the ball.
Ouch.
All right.
Ouch.
There you go. Do you have a joke for us?
I am the last person you want to be asking to tell a joke, but I'll give it a shot. So mom says to her child, "Sweetheart, what would you like to be when you grow up?" Says, I want to be a musician. "Well, honey, I love you, but you can't do both."
There you go. And I think that's a great place to start.
That sounded like an authentic laugh. Thank you.
I'm pretty good at it, right?
I might start telling more jokes now. Boosting my confidence.
I think that was a great one and a great place to start for this podcast, because I feel like that's part of what we talk about here is playing for a living. And really, why would you want to grow up? Why would you want to give up on your childhood dreams? I do see reasons for both. I mean, 5-year-olds are generally poor at making career choices, so when you ask a kid what they want to be when they grow up, they don't really pick things that have, fun, fulfillment, paychecks.
I mean, fighting fires, I guess, doesn't pay too much, generally volunteer.
Right. And firefighters and princesses and ballerinas and all of those good childhood dreams can be fun, but they don't always work out as a career choice. So I wanted to ask you about being a musician. I find like if you can get and just pay your bills and get to keep making music, that is an amazing milestone. And that really is what it's all about. So we don't really need to be, Justin Timberlake or insert famous musician that's making, billions of dollars to have fun and be successful playing music, right?
Yeah, my intention is, hey, I get that people like the idea of being famous and celebrities, but there's a whole lot of baggage that comes along with it. Justin Timberlake is probably in the small pool of successful celebrities who probably has his head screwed on straight, but the vast majority of them they end up falling, they rise and fall, and there's nothing really stable about their careers. And they're sort of like has-beens, and that's depressing. I'm looking for stability within an exciting, playful career that just gives me pure joy. Life's really short, and I'm looking for meaning. I'm looking to connect with people in a meaningful way. And
did you ever bail out? Did you do like the college path, get an accounting degree and start trying to be serious? Or did you always follow your heart in music?
So I did the reverse of what most normal people do. So I started out being practical and then became impractical the older I got. Nice. So you could say I lost my mind, but I think what I did was I just had an awakening and the realization that if I don't have joy throughout my life and I'm just sort of like working for the man and just ending up in the grave, what's the point? And I have 3 degrees in the sciences from top tier universities.
Nice.
And I come from a pretty educated family. Everybody's gone to MIT, Harvard, like professors, everything, like way too many degrees. I have, so my 3 degrees in the sciences I actually implemented, I put into practice, I worked for a number of years, and I'm like, and what was actually earning me, paying the bills since I moved to New York, and started undergrad, was music, ironically. So music pretty much chose me.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think that happens for a lot of people. So there's so much we could unpack there. But I think like when you find, you said you lost your mind, but when you find yourself a little bit and you're like, oh, I've been trying to push this away, or I thought this was a hobby, but this is what people actually appreciate, you know. A bunch of other people have degrees, or a bunch of other people do boring day jobs and work for companies, but very few people have guts or can express themselves or can play in a way that attracts other people. And I think that's really interesting. So was there a gig or a moment that you realized that you made it? I guess you kind of said in college, you realized like, hey, this is making a decent amount of money and I can keep doing this.
Yeah, that, and also like once I started playing mega, like playing mega venues like Madison Square Garden and like Carnegie Hall and PBS and over again, I started to realize, okay, maybe there's a formula here. I just have to figure it out, because I was seeing large amounts of success, but I'm not really interested in, again, the highs and the lows, which are kind of typical with entertainment. Looking for the stability, which is a challenge. It's an ongoing challenge. But to answer your question,
what do you feel like would give that for you? Is it producing and recording on a regular basis? Is it like playing in a symphony or orchestra where you have a regular day job and a paycheck? What does that look like?
So that's actually what I don't want, because once I'm doing that, I might as well be a nurse or a teacher, which I could do, and I already have those degrees. So, or something in biology. So it's like, yeah, I might do a little of that just to kind of keep up my chops with the sight reading, but I enjoy producing my own music and collaborating with artists, being creative as much as possible, and kind of reinventing myself as often as possible, and not limiting myself to I don't know, being a rank and file member of the union, just doing kind of what everybody else around me is doing. So I really don't enjoy that. I like kind of fly my own course. And
that's right up our alley, what we're about on this show. And so I want to ask you some of those, if you don't mind sharing some of the details. You don't have to share numbers or anything, but you have at least 3 new singles out. People can go to asherlaub.com and find those, and I'm sure buy them or contribute to what you're doing. But how then what's your plan for creating stability and funding on any kind of regular
well,
basis?
again, it's an ongoing challenge, but in a nutshell, if I could help your listeners, I am working like it is a full-time job and then some. So and I'm sure you are too, and everybody is. Like, you can't cruise in this career, and there is the stress of like not necessarily knowing, like, if you're wearing all these hats, the business hat, the musician hat, the producer hat, performer hat, figuring out who to negotiate with and who to work in tandem with, and collaborate with, like, it's an ongoing stress. So, but what I'm doing is I'm producing and I am collaborating, like I mentioned. I am kissing up to my fans, because they are my support and my clients, and I try to get repeat clients. I do some outreach. So, and I do social media. So those are, like, I'm going to say, the main legs or the arms in my career. And I guess being good at what you do and being innovative definitely ramps up the income.
Well, that's actually what I was going to ask you about next, which is I don't know too many electric violinists. I've seen a few maybe on America's Got Talent or something, but what was it that drew you to that instrument? And why do you think it's maybe different or better than any other for you?
Well, it was the most natural transition from classical acoustic violin, in that I already had the skills, same fingering, a little bit of a different feel, but the sound and the sensitivity on the fingers with respect to amplifying your sound, which is what the electric violin is, through a PA system, so you can compete with the other instruments, the trumpet, sax, drums, keyboard, singer. That is something you're required to have an electric violin if you want to make it work efficiently. especially if you're working with a whole range of like sound engineers, and I'm not working with the same guys every night. So I pretty much have my system. I don't know if I can lift it up for you here. This is my rig.
Yeah, there you go. You're taking it everywhere.
This is my rig. Took me 20 years to figure out, and it's essentially my sound in a box. And it's got a lot of engineering and EQing and programming behind it so that the electric violin sounds authentic, but also gives me the versatility of an electric guitar, and has a whole other series of other tones. I don't deal with feedback on stage, so it's kind of cool.
That is cool. I'm wondering, do you remember why you picked the violin in the first place? Did your parents get you lessons, or what happened there?
I just had a conversation with my mother last night about my career. I guess because she's been like listening to my interviews, curious. Oh, you know, like, how did you feel about this experience? Like being 5 years old and playing, you know, in the Suzuki orchestra with like 20 other kids around you on stage, you know, that kind of stuff. She claims that I chose the instrument at the age of 2.5, and I'm like, really, Mom? Yeah, you looked up to your older brother.
How many were on the shelf? Yeah,
right. You know, your older brother's playing violin. He's fantastic. And he was playing concertos. I'm like, Mommy, I want to play that. So that's what she claims. I remember a lot of details. Being around 3, I don't remember saying, Mommy, I want to play that, but maybe she's right.
That's funny. I think probably if you got an older brother, those are always, you know, cooler and inspiring, and you want to do what they're doing, and you're picking it up along the way. I think that that helps a lot. That's fun. What is the most fun you've ever had in your career?
I can't think of a specific moment. Actually, maybe I can. Probably playing a gig where I actually, you know, one of those $10,000 trained monkeys. There was like a zoo trainer. He basically raised the monkey, and I'm like playing next to him. I'm like, oh, could I just, you know, could he hop on my shoulder, because he was hanging on it. So yeah, he hopped on my shoulder, and he was curious, and he was like looking under, like sniffing my nose and like scratching my head. It was adorable, and that was probably one of my most memorable experiences. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a really good one. I had a buddy that reminded me of one of my funniest stories as a DJ. We were playing this outdoor concert venue, and he's playing up on stage in front of thousands of people. And the squirrel like just kind of is like running from the lawn up towards the stage. And I'm over on the side of the stage, and he's on there, and it's running at him. And we're kind of like, well, it's kind of like, you know, run up the post of the concert stage venue, the proscenium and stuff, right up on him, ran up his leg while he's DJing and jumped off his shoulder.
You can make a story. You can't make up a story like that.
No, I wish, you know, there were more cameras that are better cell phone cameras back then, and somebody had caught that on camera. But
yeah, you could have caught that. That would have gone viral.
What to expect. I think that's the fun part for me about performing, is it's really like an improvisation. Even if you know what you're planning and you have written music out in front of you, you don't know what's going to happen next. You have to be fully alive and present in the moment. What do you appreciate most about playing? And do you prefer recording over playing live? I find, like, depending on your level of introvert or extrovert or showmanship, some people are like, no, I'm a studio musician, I want to make sure I get it right. And other people are like, no, I want to hear the audience and I want to get the emotions.
You know, like, nothing quite measures up to the experience that I had at Master Theater, where the crowd was just like so hyped, and I was playing my music. That
awesome.
It wasn't just about me, it was the music that works with my instrument. Neon Dreams is my single. Those of you who want to check it out, that song is like pretty much speaks to the core of who I am musically and as a composer producer. But I bring up that story to answer your question, because you know, moments like that, it's like, okay, I don't want to do anything else. I just want to do this every night. But then I'll do an event, like a corporate event, where it's like, okay, we're going to pay you off here. And it's like, okay, fine. Not exactly. People aren't really like, they're not there for the music as much.
Yeah.
They're there for like the hype. And it's like, I'd rather be home in my studio with nobody producing Lord of the Rings medley, which is out in 2 weeks. I just get such a high from producing. It's like, I can't wait for you guys to listen to that. Rings of Power, the medley. Oh my God, Nori, Brandyfoot. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous production. That's why I chose to do basically this 26-piece orchestral cover of it in my own version with the violin. But yeah, I get highs from both. It's so meaningful, so enjoyable.
I think that makes sense. And one of the quotes that comes up most on this show is that one where people say, like, if you find what you love, you'll never work another day in your life. And I find that to not be true at all. There are days where you get that corporate event and you're like, okay, apparently I'm just background noise. And whether that's me on a microphone or you on a violin, you're like, I'm getting a big check. This is going to pay for all of that studio or that new apartment or new equipment and stuff. And you're like, we're just going to do this. So it's a job today. That's okay. But I feel like even, the worst day doing what you love is still a pretty good day.
Yeah.
There's lots of other jobs that are worse. Right?
Absolutely. Than the stable job where you can get fired anyway, and they're going to bring in a new person if you're not working your ass off. If I'm gonna work my ass off, it's gonna be for what I love, and I do it every day. And I hop out of bed thinking, man, what's next?
Well, what is next for you? Do you have something on your fun bucket list? Like, is there like a dream, theater you haven't played, or a show or an opportunity that you would want to do?
There are endless opportunities, and I thought you mentioned Dream Theater. That would be a bucket list for me.
The actual Dream Theater. I meant a dream. Yeah, if there were any others. You already did MSG and all that stuff. So
doesn't end with that. And it'd be cool to play with Billy Joel. But honestly, I'm more interested in the music that again specifically speaks to the violin, because with most of these people, it's like a pipe dream. It's a bucket list to play with like a big celebrity next to them, like filling in the notes. And it's like, I'd rather do a concert 1/100th the size of playing with, I don't know, Justin Timberlake. Although if you give me a call, Justin, I'm there, man. But that features the music that is most meaningful to me. That's really where I'm at. I play with some of these really big celebrities, and it's been pretty cool. But you're kind of like an appendage, and it's I don't know. It's not as exciting. It's exciting, but it's not as exciting as you might think it would be.
Yeah, I've been there. I've gotten to open for Billy Idol and Frankie Valli as a DJ back in my 20s and stuff. And clearly nobody knew who I was that was at the show. I've told a bunch of those stories a whole lot of times, but you're right. It's a cool opportunity, and it's fun to, get a reaction from what you're doing from a crowd of 10,000 people, but they're not really there for you. You can get a much better connection in a smaller group, or get your music out there. I think that's a lot more fun when I get somebody that mentions my podcast than stuff that I did on the radio for somebody else. Yeah,
it's cool that we're on the same page here.
Yeah, I think you got your head on really straight about this. I think it's really helpful for our audience, and especially anybody who's thinking about getting into it, or even if you're doing your thing and you're frustrated because you're not getting a big gig or other things. A lot of times those big gigs don't pay as well either. So you can make more money from, 1,000 tickets to your own fans than you can from 10,000 tickets to a celebrity and playing that event.
I've had Interscope Records, like major labels call me for a couple of gigs, Kygo, whatever. I mean, I have to be careful about what I say, because there could be some retaliatory stuff, but whatever. It was good experience, but it was, it's like, I'd rather work for double and maybe not have bragging rights, but pay the bills. And
I hear that from authors and stuff a lot too. I'm writing a book for Playful Humans here, and it's like, well, I could get signed with a big publisher and make, a few cents for each book that gets published, or I could self-publish and take 90% of the money and make it exactly the way I want it. I think those are the artistic choices that are really tough in today's world with so many more opportunities.
So I know we have so little time, but I actually want to speak to that. My father, who's a very well published paleontologist, he got published by Columbia publication, Columbia. I mean, it's a major publication for his book. And it's like the cut that he got is a joke. And I'm like, Dad, really, you're gonna accept this deal? Come on. But he's like, hey, he's retired at this point. He just wants it out, and I guess he wants the prestige. My wife also got published with a major company. She's a professor, and the deal is like also a joke, and that's not her bread and butter. For me, it's like the equivalent is a record label. So it's like if I were to get signed to a major label, I turned down a couple of options to work with some established managers, and I turned them down because I was thinking like I need to be bigger in my career, have a larger fan base before I sign on. Otherwise, they're just gonna ride off my coattails. So that's just how I feel at this point. So I can,
me too. I think if you're really wanting to do, and there's nothing wrong with those other ones too. Like you said, if you would rather have a wider reach, like if you feel like you have a message that I want to get to, I don't care how much I make on the book or the album, I want it to reach as many people as possible, then maybe those, big publishers are better options for you.
Yeah.
I had one more fun one. I happened to be, as soon as we hang up, driving to Branson, Missouri, and my wife knows the Tabucci family. Do you know Shoji Tabucci, the violinist down there?
Tabucci could be.
Anyway, you'll have to look it up. And if you ever make it to Central Missouri, Shoji Tabucci Theater is amazing violin laser show. It's like the Pink Floyd of violinists down there, and he's awesome. So.
Oh, now I'm definitely gonna check him
out. Are you ready to play a game?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go. Spinning our wheel of games, find out which game you get. And we are doing awkward questions. Awkward questions is like a would you rather game. So let's start with one of those. Would you rather get a tattoo of a third eye on your forehead or 666 on your knuckles?
Probably knuckles, because I don't want to look like a knucklehead with the thing on the eye.
There you go. I also feel like it could be 999. You just turn your hand upside down. I think that's the right answer there too. All right.
It's a good one.
Would you do somersaults on a late night talk show if you could choose the guest that would appear next to you for the rest of the show?
Absolutely. I don't even understand the question. Somersault, sure.
I feel like we are on the same page here. We're both entertainers. That's what it's all about. It's for the fun.
Yeah. I do it without you doing.
And then last one. Which item would you rather wear for a full day? Let's say on stage. It says school or work here. A plastic diaper or a bonnet over your head?
A bonnet.
The bonnet, I don't feel like either one is bad. I feel like the bonnet's easier, but I could make either one work on stage.
I could support the diaper. The bonnet, I don't know. Maybe that's just today's feeling. Tomorrow I could feel different.
That's right. It depends on which venue and which audience, for sure. Yeah. What song you're playing, I suppose.
You make a good point, because the audience really makes a difference, and I'm maybe a little too reactive to the audience, but I don't want to alienate them too much. So got some prim and proper people, out there.
Well, either way, you did it. You nailed it. You got all three. So that means you get a free 30-second commercial here. The podcast is yours now. Anything that you want to share, asks from the audience, or gives, how can you help us? How can we help you?
You already helped me. I had a great time the last 30 minutes, but I want to, first of all, thank you for having me, but also, what can I plug? That so Lord of the Rings is out in 2 weeks. Neon Dreams, like I mentioned, that was my big single. You can feel free to check that out, and you can find me on asherlaub.com. And I'll be posting Lord of the Rings. Actually, it's already there. It is already there on asherlaub.com/store. You can stream the song for free, or you can purchase it. It will be on all major platforms, which I get once I get the clearance directly from McCreary himself, awesome. And Amazon, the Amazon series. And I think that's pretty much all I got. Check me out on social media, Asher Laub. I'm the only
For
Asher
sure.
Laub in the
Check out
country.
that music. Good follow and support Asher. If you love that music, go ahead and buy it. AsherLaub.com. The link is in the show notes. And until next time, if you're looking to rediscover the power of play, go to playfulhumans.com. Share this episode with somebody that you think needs to hear it. Maybe there's a young musician or aspiring musician in your friends or family circle. That would be great. And if you haven't subscribed already, that's always nice to do. But most importantly, we also have some free gifts for you at playfulhumans.com. So /quiz, there's a quiz. And we have some other fun stuff coming here too with a new ebook full of 104 jokes coming your way very soon. Go check it out.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Live for today. Keep on chasing the sunshine. And go out and play.
Go play, everybody. Hey, you did it. You made it to the end. But don't worry, there are plenty of more videos where that came from. Just click subscribe to Playful Humans to get notified about our future videos. Now, what are you still doing here? Go play.